And as I pulled out of the car park at Ducati, I did a massive power wheelie. Good morning and welcome to another video featuring Ducati's brand new 2025 Multistrada V2S. Now today's a bit of a sad day because I've got to take it back to Ducati, but it's lovely weather. We have some sheepies in the field and sheeps and little lammies. Oh, they're cute, aren't they? Yeah, so I figured let's do a really nice route back to Silverstone, where Ducati headquarters is based in the UK, and we can have a little bit of an impromptu, informal chat about the Multistrada V2S. I've had it for a couple of weeks, so I can give you the lowdown, what I think about it. I've done a bit of everything: commuting, faster roads, motorway, longer journeys, that sort of thing. Or you want to see more bike content, don't forget to subscribe. But for now, let's just throw a leg over this Italian stallion. No, not me, haha, the bike. And I'm using Kalimoto for my ride back to Silverstone today. Yeah, it's going to take a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours. Ooh, start the Insta360 X3 as well. This is my sort of B camera that does the forward-facing stuff. I've seen the X5 and I do think it looks quite good, but it's a lot of money, 560 quid. So I'm not sure. I mean, this does the job, so. Ducatis always sound like they struggle to start. A bit sort of wheezy. Right, let's get going. So if you want to see my first ride video of this bike, I will put a card up. That does go over a lot more of the technical stuff, and today isn't really about that, but I can talk about the basics. So it's a V-twin engine. It's got variable valve timing, which is the new thing. The V2 engine in this bike is actually their lightest V2 ever, and the engine weighs a mere 54.4 kilograms, which is flipping light if you think about it. I deadlift more than that. A lot more than that. 115 horsepower and 92 newton meters of torque, so very kind of in the ballpark of the other 900s, that being the Tracer 9 as well as the Tiger 900. And there is the BMW F900 as well, which is, I think that's a bit less at 105 horses, but yeah, it's around that sort of ballpark. However, this bike does have a 19-inch front wheel, so it is a bit more closer to the Tiger 900 GT, which also has a 19-inch front wheel. Ooh, look at this. Very lovely. Weak bridge. Yes, very nice. So yeah, so the Tracer 7 and the BMW have 17-inch front wheels, so they are a bit more rude, sporty orientated, I would say. Sporty touring, but more sporty. And that's not to say that the 19-inch front wheel feels bad. This bike does handle quite nicely, but it is definitely not as keen to turn in as those aforementioned bikes. So that is something you need to kind of be aware of and understand a little bit. But yeah, same as the Tiger 900 platform essentially, certainly the GT. We've got the electronic suspension on this version, it being the V2S, Ducati Skyhook suspension, massive 45mm forks, big old girthy jib jobs. Who doesn't love a bit of girth? Suspension is actually pretty good. I'm currently in comfort mode, which is very, very lovely for kind of everyday riding. You've got this little button over here, which you depress, he says, pressing it properly. And you've got three different settings: dynamic, which is the sportier riding suspension mode, and you've got a low grip mode as well, which yeah, I guess it just takes everything into account with all the sensors for sort of wet or slippery conditions, and just helps you out a little bit, which is quite nifty. Now obviously I've not been able to test that. It's getting on towards summer here in the UK. It's actually quite a nice day today. We're at 19 degrees. I think that's the warmest so far this year. Good day, sirs. I guess we could also compare this against the Versys. That's just reminded me, seeing a Kawasaki there, the Versys 1100. Although that does have a little bit more power, and again that has a 17-inch front wheel. But it's in the ballpark, you know. The bars are super wide on this Multistrada. It feels, ergonomically to ride, it feels much more like a proper adventure bike. like a big adventure tourer than a sports tourer. So I would say this is definitely more leaning towards the adventure side of things than sports touring, for sure. The bike weighs around about 220 kilos with a full tank of fuel, which is fairly reasonable and quite average. I think the new Chaser 9 GT is around about 227, something like that, fully fueled, ready to rip. So yeah, I've done quite a bit of riding on this bike. I've taken it on the motorway, which motorway stuff is absolutely great. That screen in the higher position, and it's got a one-handed jib job, and it's super easy, as you just saw. As I'm navigating a junction, I was able to do that. Road looks clear, yes it did. And I'll tell you what, this year that V2 really does rip. They've shortened the first two gears and given it an extra bit of oomph. I don't think it's more power, but it's just because of those variable valves as well. It's got a bit of an uplift in that, the way it delivers the torque, and it just feels very, very torquey, and certainly different to the old V2 Multistrada, which I rode a couple of years ago, and I really liked how that bike handled on the road, but it was just, I found it quite rev happy. You had to really rev it to get the most out of it, which was a bit of a shame. I was considering buying one at the time, and I just remember I had the Tiger 850 Sport at the time, and that's how long ago it was. And when I dropped the old V2 Multistrada back to Ducati, I picked up my Tiger 850 Sport, which was essentially the base model Tiger 900. And as I pulled out of the car park at Ducati, I did a massive power wheelie, because I was so used to having to rev the Ducati for the last 2 weeks that I wasn't used to just how urgent the Tiger felt in comparison. But they fixed that this year on this bike. It is essentially an all new bike from the ground up, and it's 18 kilos lighter than the previous version as well, and that's a decent amount of weight. That's a weight you're going to feel, and I reckon, like, okay, I don't have them back to back, and back to back tests are really, really useful at seeing the fine detail of where bikes are different, but you can definitely feel that this is a much more agile machine. It's got quite a nice induction noise as well from the engine. And those brakes, those what have we got on this one? It's the Brembo, I think they're the M432 monoblocks. And okay, they're not stylemas, but flipping heck do they feel good. They're so bitey. You've got a Brembo master cylinder as well, radial. Yeah, it just feels absolutely crisp, and you really can slam on the anchors with one finger, and it's just feels really, as I said, really crisp, really sharp, good amount of bite. Awesome brakes. We're down to a 20. Let's see how this V2 copes with the 20 in second gear. It's not too bad. I assumed it would be all horrible and lumpy, but it's not. It's actually quite smooth. The initial throttle response is quite nice when you're on the gas, but there is quite a lot of engine braking when you come off the gas. It sort of lurches you forward a little bit. I'm guessing that's the nature of the engine, and also probably something to do with the Euro 5 plus emissions, which this bike adheres to now. Which, you know, it's affecting. It is going to affect bikes and the way they feel in terms of sort of throttle response. So let's talk about the seat. I found the seat pretty comfortable. It's quite hard, and after a couple of hours your bum does get a little bit numb, but I can ride this bike for 2 hours non-stop without needing to jump off it. Some bikes, you know, I definitely wouldn't be able to do 2 hours in the saddle without being in quite a lot of discomfort. But this bike isn't one of them. So yeah, stock seat, I think this probably pretty good, and if you were wanting to do bigger days than that, you could look into a comfort seat. I think they do that. You can adjust the seat height, so you've got two seat heights, 830 or 850 millimeters, and I've got it in the lower setting of 830, and I find it pretty good actually. You've got all the electronics you could ever want and more on this bike. So, you know, 6-axis IMU, so lean sensitive, traction, wheelie control, ABS, all that good stuff. This comes with a quick shifter up and down, and it does work for the most part. It works really well. However, every now and again, I would say, I don't know what the ratio is. Oh, look at this beautiful countryside. But it's, yeah, just every now and again, when you go to change, you'll get like a couple of red lights on the dash and it refuses to change. I'd say 1 out of 100, let's just go with that. 1 out of 100 quick shift changes seems to complain a little bit. It's not the slickest quick shifter out there. That still belongs to the Yamaha Tracer 9. That quick shifter is unbelievably good. But it's not bad. It's definitely, you definitely know you're on a Ducati. And what I mean by that is if you've ever ridden a Ducati, you kind of know what you're riding. It's a little bit, there's a little bit more character involved, shall we say. There's just a few little quirks and things that are a bit different to other bikes. Right, this is saying to go right. So I was a little bit confused there because I thought, so let's just make sure. It is a bit of a van day today, but we will have to dispatch these. And if you're wondering why bikers don't like sitting behind vans, because if you can see that van in front of me, it's blocking so much of the view. It's also going quite slowly, so I'm guessing he's going to be doing some kind of stop somewhere. So yes, I could hang back, but I really want to get past him. But alas, we will have to be patient. But yeah, this is a nice little route that Kalimoto has sorted out for me. I just put in Silverstone from my home, pressed winding and let it do its thing. And they are not sponsoring my channel. They did give me access. They did give me access to the full app. So thank you very much, Kalimoto. But again, not sponsored, not paid by them to say nice things. But I have to say, I've been using Kalimoto for years. I did have the free version before they sort of took that away. And I don't blame them for charging, because, you know, they have to put time and resources into developing the app. So if you do want to download the app, I think you get it free for a bit or something, or maybe a month or something like that. Or you can pay for it monthly, or it's 50 quid for the year. I would say just buy the yearly one. It is absolutely fantastic, and I've found some incredible roads. That's tighter than I thought, and that is very much what she said. Oh dear. So I've got a day's holiday today. I just booked the day off because I thought I could try and, you know, get the bike back to Silverstone early and then rush back to work. But I just thought, you know what, it's a nice day. Let's get the day off. Let's take the day off and just enjoy. How the heck are you in front of me again? Ah! It is van day today, but you know, these guys have to work as well, so you know, it is how it is. Right, yeah, we should talk about the bike a bit more, shouldn't we? The chassis is absolutely incredible, and what I mean by that is just how the suspension works. It feels really plush in this comfort mode. If you want it a bit stiffer and a bit bumpier, or if you're thinking about doing a much sportier ride, then you can stick it in the dynamic mode, and it does make a really notable difference. I leave the engine in sport mode just because I like to have the full bore experience. But it does have, ooh, little pheasant. Hello, miss. There's a lady pheasant. Yeah, it does have the variable valve timing, which has been in cars for years, but it's something bikes are starting to introduce. I think it's similar to the shift cam, but just done a little bit differently. But similar sort of thing, just gives you a bit more wider range of usable torques. I'm not an engineer, as you can probably tell, but it, you know, it makes the bike go faster. It go faster. I think that's what the Orcs would say, the Speedy Boys. What is that faction of the Orcs called that love all the really fast things? I know you've got the shooty lads. God, I do like the Warhammer stuff, but it does feel like their modern stuff is a little bit leaning, perhaps, potentially towards trying to make Warhammer 40k a little bit too appealing to a broad generic audience. I think they really need to just concentrate on their core audience. I'm really going off topic here, aren't I? Look at this beautiful rape field. I might have to edit that word out because YouTube is stupid. I would very much like to dispatch this yellow Wilson van. Wilson! Yes, if you can name that film, then yeah, you get no brownie points because it's pretty obvious. Knee down, yeah, whoa. Yeah, boys, just have it. Whee! That's. I've been on the bike for about an hour and a bit, and my bum is starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. It's like it's not like numb, it's just like, I think they're called the sit bones, the sticky out bits of your bum, or the pelvis, and I can feel that there's friction there, and that's what it feels like. It feels like someone's given my bottom a Chinese burn. And I know some people do pay good money for that sort of thing. But not I, sir, not I. But yeah, it's not massively uncomfortable, it's just slightly irritating. But again, I don't think it would cause me too many issues. What are we waiting for? Christmas? Are we waiting for a written invite, sir? I guess it is their right of way because the traffic, all the parked cars are on our side. Patience is the key as well. You've got to be really, really patient on a motorcycle. Whenever I'm impatient on a bike, I find I get myself into hot water. I don't know if you find the same. I could definitely squeeze through there. He's going. Good lad. He's flipping going, mate. Oh, he's being bold. He's being bold. A bold move there, sir. Bit of a tricky junction. Oh, look at this. Lovely. Nice Mustang. Very nice. Very, very nice. Oh, I don't think I did the thing, did I? Sinking the doodad up. I didn't sink my doodad! I'm going to actually put the visor up just to get a bit of air into the thingy thing. Visorup.com. Haha. Look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. This must be the Thames, right? There's a nice weir. Beautiful. Really, really lovely. Thank you, Kalimoto, for this nice little route. I suppose I'm going to need to stop chatting at some point, but so far the road is rather lovely. Oh, they're mowing the grass. I can feel the pollen infiltrating my nasal passage, and I might start having a sneezing fit in a bit. Oh, here we go, shop window. We're going to have a look, aren't we? Oh yes, Daniel. Oh yes, you look great. This bike definitely suits me. This guy's tall, isn't he? Jesus. Ducati. We've got a Ducati. A Ducati. I think that's how Randy Mamola says it, isn't it? Ducati. Where are we going? We're going left here. Lefty left. Gear changes are not the smoothest, I would say. A little bit clunky. And that's when using the clutch as well. But the clutch is hydraulic clutch. It is quite stiff. Fnar. Am I even going to be able to go past this cyclist at 20? She's almost having me. Yeah, the screen also is very easy to manipulate. You got two. Is it just two positions? Can you? No, it's two positions. I think it's only two positions. You can't do a in the middle bit, I don't think. I'll have it down for a bit more wind in my face. My gloves come undone. That's fun, isn't it? Oh goodness, the faffery is real. I'm just going to use your driveway for a second. Sorry, everybody. Do my Halvarsen Flon gloves up. Oh, did you see that? Fancy Aston. Fancy pants Aston. Yes, slow down, Mr. Aston. Mr. Bond. Mr. Bond doesn't want to do 20 miles an hour. I am really talking a load of crap, aren't I? Okay, I've just had a little stop because my body was getting a bit sore. So I've done 2 hours. And yeah, that's probably my limit on this seat. It's not the worst seat in the world, but I do think 2 hours is enough. I am wearing just standard bike jeans. They don't have any padding on the bottom. Now, if I was wearing my Rucker textiles, if I was wearing my Rucker textiles, that might be okay because they've got padding in the bum. I think I probably would be okay. But yeah, here she is looking lovely in the sun. So there's your Brembo monoblocks. As I said, they're not stylemas, but they are still really, really good. And all new front end, still got that beak. But yes, it does look quite nice, quite purposeful, I think. And it does come in this red or that matte green. I do prefer the red. It's a Ducati after all. It has to be red. So there's your 19-inch front wheel, and the tyres are Scorpion Trail 2s, and they are pretty good. No complaints in dry weather, wet weather. They've been absolutely fine. Integrated indicators. I would probably opt for some kind of bars here. We've got a little bit of ducting here. It's a bit plasticky, but there you go. Not sure what the ducting does, but yeah, 19-litre fuel tank. It's good for around about 180, 190 miles. Probably over 200 if you're really pushing it. And there's that V2 lump. All new. 54.4 kilograms in total weight for that brand new V2. And I think we're going to see this in a lot more motorcycles in the future. I know it's in the Panigale V2 as well and the Street Fighter, but I reckon there'll be a Desert X with it and maybe some other stuff as well. Pillion foot pest. The pillion is a foot pest. That does look comfy for them. That's a big old distance between the foot peg and the seat. So I think pillion is going to be very, very comfortable there. And you've got the optional sort of attachment points for the side cases. Half decent hugger as well, as standard. So don't think you'd need to really purchase an aftermarket jib job. Let's just listen to the noise. We'll make a bit of racket. Sorry, everyone. They do sound like they struggle to start, don't they? Does sound pretty good, I think. Yes, grab rails as well. You can of course get a top box. These indicators look a bit derpy, don't they? I think Ducati could do better there. They just look a bit weird. Number plate hanger isn't too big though. There's your rear shock as well, all electronic. As I said, Ducati Skyhook on the V2S. And it's horizontally mounted. We have a helicopter somewhere, a Chinook, yes. And there's the quick shifter system as well. Interesting linkage actually there. It's quite well put together. Some really nice componentry. Some of the plastic is a little bit, some quite big panel gaps, but the metal parts look absolutely fantastic. So yes, I'll jump back on the bike and then we can talk about some pros and cons that I've found riding this new bike. Let's go! Hello! Oh, that is fun. Right, I suppose we can talk about some pros and cons, likes and dislikes, while I'm riding the thing. So let's start off with the cons or dislikes. The quick shifter is not the slickest in the world. It does on occasion get a little bit flustered, which can be a little bit of a pain. Another thing also to do with electronics is the traction control can be a little bit aggressive when it cuts in. So if you're on the power and you suddenly lose traction, I have had it where it just cuts the power quite aggressively and you end up lurching forward quite hard. And it has done that a few times, which is disconcerting. The seat, like most bikes, you know, I'd love for the seat to be a bit more comfy. However, I also concede that 2 hours of comfort is probably the most amount I'd want to do. But yeah, I would love if they just had really plush, comfortable seats, such as the one that's on the V-Strom 800 RE. That is an excellent seat. I've done about 3.5–4 hours on that with no issues whatsoever. But I also understand that people experience discomfort differently on motorcycle seats. So it's not a case of one size fits all, if you will. Other negatives, This is a bit of an odd one, but it is quite a big bike physically, and until you turn a wheel it does feel quite tall, quite wide. So if you are a bit of a shorty, it might put you off, but what I would say is, you know, give it a go. Put the seat in the lower position of 830. It does have quite a narrow standover, but it can seem quite intimidating to the uninitiated. I did have a couple of issues with the starter, in that when I turned the bike on and depressed the starter, it didn't fire over immediately, and then I kind of released it and had to press it again and it worked. I don't know if that's particular to this bike. It did it twice in 2 weeks, so you know, I don't know if that's just a Ducati thing, if that's normal or what, but it did it, and so I'm reporting on it. The one last thing for the cons is the indicator switch is where I like it, but it also has this big lip above it for the D-pad, and that I sometimes end up pressing that. Maybe that's something I would just get used to, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. I can talk about heat management, and it's a fairly warm day today. It's now 20 degrees, and not once have I felt any heat under the seat at all. It's been absolutely brilliant. Perhaps on a 30 to 40 degree day you might feel it in town, but yeah, I can only go by my experience on these video reviews, but no issues at all. The balance is also very nice, and what I mean by that is low speed stuff, it just seems to, I don't know, fill me with quite a bit of confidence. The engine is absolutely fantastic this year. They really have worked a bit of magic to make it a lot punchier from the off, which is, as I said, something I felt the previous generation bike was missing. It just felt a little bit like it was struggling to get going. But this is certainly not the case on this machine. Another absolutely brilliant thing about this bike is just how it handles. It feels utterly locked in and composed. It's really a lovely, lovely thing to ride. And even though it's got that 19-inch front wheel, it actually turns in quite nicely. Certainly not as quick as a bike with a 17-inch front wheel, but surprisingly good still. Oh, for goodness sake, it's just all lorries after lorries today, isn't it? This one's got very clever suspension and other electronics too, and the riding modes, dynamic and comfort, are the two ones I would use the most, and they are really quite different. Comfort is just lovely if you want to blast around on some bumpy B roads, and if you do find some lovely smooth twisties, then dynamic is the mode to go for. I've left the bike in sport mode because I just like the power delivery. There is a cyclist, so I will sit behind the truck and wait. I quite like the look of the bike. I know some people were saying how they think it's really, really ugly, but you know, looks are subjective, aren't they? I liked the previous generation machine as well, with all those lights. The lights were really good at night. Lights on this one at night time are actually pretty good. I didn't get any footage of it, but yeah, they are rather good. Lean sensitive and all that jazz. Not as good as the new Tracer 9 GT's Matrix LED lighting system, but they're not far off, and they're pretty good for bike lights. Good day, sir. Oh, shorts, you idiot. You idiot. And I know it's your body, your choice. But if you have to get scraped up off the road, it's the NHS that has to deal with it. Why is it so difficult to put a pair of trousers on? Here we go. The comfort is, well, I also mentioned it as a negative. I do think 2 hours is also fairly decent. Perhaps the comfort seat, you could improve that or extend that a bit. Brakes are also absolutely, oh my god, yeah. Brakes are absolutely phenomenal. But they're not even the latest generation Stylemas, but yeah, they don't need to be. They're flipping awesome. All the sort of basic things that I want from a bike. I want it to handle well, I want it to go well, and I want it to stop well. All covered off on this bike. It does those key things quite well. Does those key components really well. And it really makes me want to try the Panigale V2. I've always wanted to own a Panigale. Oh crikey. Steady on, Chief. Yeah, I've always wanted to try a Panigale, and I think the new V2 might be just the ticket. So let me know if you want me to review that, and I will do so. Price is quite high on this. I think it starts at about... Do you know what? I've forgotten what the price is, so I'll stick it up on the screen. It is more expensive than some bikes, for sure, but Ducatis have never been known for being cheap. But by jingo, are they good. You get a 48-month warranty as well on this bike. So I think that certainly adds some confidence to your buying decision. Ducati seem quite confident in their product, so why wouldn't you? But yeah, I've really thoroughly enjoyed my time on the Multistrada V2, and this year round I think it's done more than enough to make it one of my top picks for a sporty adventure bike, even though it is certainly, for me, I think it feels more adventure touring. When you get the thing going, it really does handle like a sports tourer on stilts. So yes, very impressed. Obviously no bike is perfect, and I have mentioned a few cons for this machine, because I do try and like to find some negatives about every bike that I ride, because I want to be balanced. It's not all, you know, no bike is perfect, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say. So thank you so much for watching. If you do go out today, do ride safely, but remember to have fun, of course. Otherwise, what's the point? And until next time, you take care. Peace.